Hi, my name is Noel Velasquez, and I'm here today to give you a testimony of how God changed my life. I was involved in a gang life called the Latin Kings. In this gang life, we do things that still gangs do today, and you probably hear and see and watch in a lot of news. So here I'm telling you just a bit about how God changed my life. At the age of 15, I was brought in with the initiation of the Latin Kings. I got beat down, I got punched, I got smacked, I got all bruised out just because I needed to be brought in to show them that I can handle it. I made it through and I finally passed the test. So I became what they call a soldier. And being a soldier, I went out there and started doing my life with these fellas looking for that father figure. And I would go out there and search for fun. But the fun that I was searching was hurting people, taking stuff from people, stealing cars, doing drugs, selling drugs, doing things you couldn't even imagine, just because I was looking for that happiness. I had the money, I had the power, I had cars, I had everything, but I didn't have the happiness. And in the midst of looking for that happiness, I went out there and started doing things that did not make no sense to no one. And I'm sure you hear it in the news every day. So I went and moved to Tampa, Florida. In there, I decided to make 3 big crimes. And they were all involved into jewelry. When I did these crimes, and they were involved into diamonds, which was the main key of the money, I would transport from one state to another. I thought everything was smooth. I put it in other people's cars I didn't even know, just to get it transported from one place to another and follow them. So when they go to a store or when they go to their house, I go underneath and take it out and do what I had to do to deliver it, to make my money. But still, that did not make me happy. I heard a lot of people that still to today, that does not make me happy. But I thought it did at the time, because we laughed about it, we goofed about it. I thought it was funny at the time. One time, I had a friend of mine that was also involved in the situation, that went out there and did something else, got caught for something else, and told on me about this case. And that brought me to federal prison. I went to Atlanta Penitentiary. And right there when I got sentenced, the judge says I was going to get 35 to life. 35 to life. Do you know what's that? Impossible. But they gave me 35 to life. He said, I'm going to sentence you to the worst of the worst. And he sent me to Atlanta Penitentiary. Read up on it and you'll see what I'm talking about. From there, I was still a soldier, running the situation in there until I got promoted. When I got promoted to another level, I still thought that that would bring me happiness. And it did. Even though I was in the prison running the whole system, it did not work right. There I was involved in stabbings and fightings and all kinds of stuff. Went to the hole, got back out, tried to do things that didn't make any sense. So I hurt a lot of people. Even in prison. I even sold drugs in there. I ran stuff in there. I did stuff in there that was totally impossible to even understand today. I tell you this because I don't want you to go through the same thing I went through. Within that time, the prison did not even want me there because they really had no control over me. So they moved me to a whole different prison just because they couldn't control my life. So I went ahead and went to this new prison they made, which was Coleman Penitentiary. At that prison, Coleman Penitentiary, we went there and did my time there and became the treasurer of the Latin Kings. Being a treasurer of a gang gives you even more control of life. And I had so much control in there that no one could even cross my way, to the point where they had to do something in the system to see what they can do to get me out. But of course, with the history that I have, they couldn't let me out right away. So I had to sit there and put up with this. Within going to the chow hall, fighting, stabbing, throwing trays around, acting like a fool in prison, they had to put me in a hole. Putting me in a hole is like locking yourself in the bathroom and never come out. You try that and you see what I'm talking about. And let somebody else bring you the food, if you're lucky. Now, I get out 30 days, 60 days later, and continue the same thing again. Went and stabbed this person here, beat up that person there. It's such an impact of what happened in there that when you see movies, it's nothing compared to what life really is in prison. Unless someone like myself would tell you exactly what goes on in there. In the movie, of course, the star never gets hurt. Nothing ever happens to him. But me, yeah, I got hurt. I got stabbed. I got scars. And then went back to the hole again because they knew I did it, even though I tried to get away with it. But that didn't matter. Still, my mom's prayer was saving my life. So I went ahead and they said, you know what? We're going to move you to another prison. So they moved me from Coleman Penitentiary now to Coleman Medium, which is a facility. Because he asked me, what would change your life to control you more? I said, where you are is who I am. So if you put me at a penitentiary, I'm going to have to act like a penitentiary. If you put me at a medium, I'm going to act like a medium. But all that was fools and games, because that's all I wanted was to get there. So I did that. I proved myself, started behaving. Little they didn't know, even though I was behaving, I was still paying the other people to do the other work. So the work was getting still done in there. So they transferred me from Coleman Medium, Penitentiary to Coleman Medium. When I made it to Coleman Medium, of course you're going to behave for the first couple of months. And then after that, I became the treasurer again there. Running the situation, running the drugs, running everything. But I was using other people so that way nothing comes to me. Once again, what you see on TV is not compared to what it is in life. So here I am telling you exactly what goes on in there. So I went ahead and started continuing doing that. So they sent a letter to the courthouse saying, we cannot deal with this one here. No prison wants him. Neither do we. Even if we put him in the hole, he's paying the officers in there to move stuff around in there too. So how do we control this guy? So then they're sitting saying, going, well, the only way to control him is releasing him. But the judge is saying, how could we release him if he had 35 years? But remember, I had a mom praying for me. And an angel showed up at my mom and told my mom that I would get out earlier than that. I didn't believe it, because at that point in time, I didn't believe God even existed. So, within my mom's prayer, I got a knock on the door and told me, Velasquez, you're being released at 6 o'clock in the morning. I said, you got to be kidding me. I still have 15 years to do. Out of 15 years to do, I decided to go ahead and continue the life of the gangs while I was still living outside. So I got out, went to a halfway house, and in that halfway house, I was still trying to communicate myself with all the gangs that I was involved with. Still, I got a hold of the one that was in charge of the Latin Kings there and became right back a member again when I got out. Continuing to live my life. Once you're a king, you're always a king. That's always just like that. Doesn't matter what you do. So I said, this is my life. I'm going to make it again. And I'm going to look for that guy that told on me and put me in there. So that was my mission. In 10 years being locked up, I'm looking for the guy that told on me. One day, I was with my mom, and I went to Home Depot in Tampa, Florida, by Florida Avenue. I ran into the person that told on me. When I ran into that person that told on me, I went over there with the intention of stabbing him with the screwdriver that was right there on the shelf of Home Depot. At this time, my mom was behind me, but she's a Christian woman and she was praying. But that didn't faze me. I ran over there, I grabbed the screwdriver, and I went to stab him. At that minute, when I went to stab him, something grabbed my arm, and it felt like a grip of a hand, but it was a wide grip. It squeezed me so hard that the screwdriver fell out my hand. I couldn't believe that was happening. But I still went forward to him to hit him, and I ended up embracing him and hugging him and telling him how much I love him. Mind you, I wasn't Christian yet. Once again, how did that come out my mouth? I don't know. Because that was not my intention to tell him, I forgive you. That was just not there. But God is so forgiving. That when he's involved, he takes control of your life. So I continued. And I said, one day I'll run into him again. So I continue living my life. And continue drinking. Continue smoking. Continue robbing people. Continue doing the things that were not in my life that I should not be doing. Because I knew that would bring me back. Mind you, I was in probation. I went ahead and decided to go to Busch Gardens that night. When I went there, I seen him again. I said, now this time my mom is not here. This time I'm going to get him. Because this time no one is praying. I can grab him now. So I did. I seen him. I turned around, went after him, and went to grab him. When I went to choke him, that was my intention, I felt something. I grabbed my hand, extended it, and I hugged him. And I said, I forgive you because God forgave me. Now that was something that normally don't come out of my mouth. But it did at the time. And I still to today, I'm like, wow, there has to be a God. Because those words were not mine, and that's not what I was going to say. But I said it, and I hugged him. He cried and said that he forgave me too because of things that I did to him. And then he left his way with his girl, and I left my way. And right there in Busch Gardens, I got on my knees, and I looked up and said, God, if you're really real, do something. Show me that I'm not going crazy, because every time I hug this guy, I'm saying words that's not even supposed to be there. So I got up and I left. Who does that in the middle of Busch Gardens? Only when you're impacted. So I went. I got out. When I got out, I went to go see my mom, and I said, Mom, guess what happened to me today? And I told her what happened. And she said, about what time did that happen? I said, it happened about this time. She said, that was the same time I was praying for you. See, God is always there, even when you think he's not there. And I still said, no, I'm not going to believe that. So I left. I met a girl. When I met her, just to please her, I went over there to church. But I said, I'm going to prove a point to her that pastor is nothing but a man up there just talking. So when I went there to prove my point to her, to let her know that he's nothing, I'm looking at him with this evil eye like, yeah, I'm going to get you. I'm going to show you who you really are. You're nothing. I'm something.